maybe an overview is there are several already. We dedicated the whole 2 months to studies of Gapsar in
Oh, okay. Where was I? I mustn't be knowing you. I don't know.
no, that time it was 2007. Yes, it was
Ah, okay. Because
intense.
I find it difficult to read him alone. Like I feel if take I find it little complex when you read.
Yeah, he uses his own terms. He coined his own language.
Yeah. And it's very complex.
Yeah, and he likes that complexity in a way. He's uh, he's marvelous, actually. What he did was really something. But yeah, and he acknowledges the influence of Sri Aurobindo in the subtle
Yeah.
manner. He's the only one who actually acknowledges it without a need of that acknowledgement, because he was already an achieved scholar and philosopher of social sciences, and his view is studied all over the world. And at the same time, he recognized the influence of Sri Aurobindo. When he discovered Sri Aurobindo later, then he wrote in his letter that I know where this influence came to me. It was from
Mhm.
Sri Aurobindo. So there is something very beautifully matching with Sri Aurobindo's philosophy. And in that
Okay.
sense, it's worth looking into most probably.
Or it could be him and Shurbindo and you take a few, I don't know.
Right. We did this already. Him, Sri Aurobindo, Upanishads, because Upanishads also speak about these Mandukya or four levels, which are matching beautifully with structures of consciousness. And then afterwards, you are kind of, how to say, you're infected by his thinking and you are not free to go away from his structures. Yeah? You always find it meaningful in everything you study. Because we are very complex beings, yes. The vision is that we do not think within one framework. We have several frameworks. I was always wondering why some, astronauts from India before going to cosmos, they put Shiva or Vishnu, Tilaka. Why do they do that? They are scientists. They should believe in science. Why to worship the divine in some form? Or some, communists go secretly, my mother going to church, putting some, um, candle for her children to pass exam or something. So this is something weird that we live in one paradigm and then we live in another paradigm. We all love fairy tales. For some reason, this mythical structure is living in us, and we believe in magic, all of us. It's something which is already settled within us. So we may shift from one paradigm to another or combine them, and that complexity is not seen by us. So Gepser helps us to kind of articulate those structures of consciousness, as he calls. And from there, we see that, wow, we are much more complex. And integral structure is just one last word on it before we go into the hymns. Integral structure is the combination of all of them in the efficient manner, where they don't block each other. Usually the structures block. Mental structure blocks magic and mythical immediately because you are a scientist. You don't believe in that voodoo. You are critical. But in the integral structure, they all find their place, right place, and contribution to the knowledge of the truth. So, in that sense, of course, the Vedas, since we started with Gepser, are, in my view, representing the integral structure. And I will tell you why, since we are already talking about this, why I think so. That Vedas do not represent archaic structure or magic or mythical alone or mental, because all the elements are found in the hymns. First of all, very sophisticated and highly developed language, which is the feature of the mental structure. Yeah? That you have to be so precise using language for different phenomena, different events, different spiritual discoveries. Second, poetic language, yes, highly developed. And second, it operates within the mythical structure. So it deals with our self-finding and self-discovery. It is always this fire, the flame is that flame, as the spark of which we represent here as the souls. And these souls, this Priya, Idia, beloved, sought with adoration. This is the flame from the heart, which is the basis or the central point of the mythical structure. And it deals with the oneness of nature. All the gods, all the forces are representing this oneness and interaction, and constant transformation of nature is the magic structure. So you have three of them constantly present throughout the hymns in a very efficient manner. They do not suffocate one another. So they are kind of even not visible because they support properly the balance between the three. Yeah. And I was thinking why it is so, why Vedas are so integral, and why that integrality is so important for us and for India and for the discovery of the Veda. And then I thought that maybe because the Veda was brought to us, according to Indian tradition, by the Vedic rishis from the beginning of Manvantara. Each Manvantara starts with the 7 rishis bringing the Vedic knowledge down to humanity as the plan or the vision of the group soul, what is to be achieved within this period of time, Manvantara. Yeah? So, and that vision is articulated in terms of the Veda, of these hymns. So that was brought down and inbuilt in humanity, that they have to always have the reference point, why we are here, what we are here to do, what we are here for. And because it was envisioned by the group soul in the period of Pralaya between Manvantaras, it was envisioned as the integral, complete achievement of all the structures. And that integrality is felt, seen, understood, or we can feel that the presence of all the structures in the efficient manner. So in that sense, it's amazing. If you observe the whole Indian tradition, you will see that whoever went wherever, Nayayikas, Vaisheshikas, or others like Vaiyakaranas, they have their own paths of knowledge. Advaitins, yes, Vishishta Advaitins, they are all very different. They speak different languages, Buddhists, Jainists, but there is something very interesting about Indian culture. When they come together in seminars, in meetings, in discussions, they celebrate the difference of knowledge. This is what I wanted to say. This you will not find anywhere. There is no such culture. So Nayayika will not object to Vaisheshika for his different views, or to Advaitin, or to Vaiyakarana. They will all enjoy the difference. There's a new element which I don't have in my system. So this, I think, is the influence of the Veda, of the Vedic integral structure. It's the foundation on which all the differences of knowledge can be celebrated. In other words, I can say it this way, that in the Veda, the oneness is presumed, the difference is celebrated. The difference is sought after rather than the oneness. In our paradigm already, we are presuming the difference and looking for oneness. So we're kind of upside down in our thinking. So in that sense, Veda is amazing. Yeah, you see, gaps have brought us here to this position.
Yes, so you must do something.
Well, it is another language which is helpful for us to think differently. We need several languages to operate with the knowledge we want to establish in our life, because that knowledge is not language in pure sense. Only in the Veda knowledge is language, yes, because it's inbuilt into the roots, into the powers or meanings of the words. And those meanings have to be found and felt and articulated in our consciousness. And it triggers some visions, some understanding which we can't have otherwise. All right, I'm coming to our hymn. The less and less of us in our group.
Jayashree and her sister are driving right now.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why they're not able to join us.
All right. Well, yes. I guess it's normal because I've seen this over time many times that the group enthusiastically starts and ends with a few those who can't leave because others already left. So they have to stay because otherwise it would be too rude to leave. And I'm squashing them till the end. And then they leave. All right, that was a joke. Stupid joke, but okay. Let me open the file. Here it is. It's an amazing hymn. We stopped at number 7, so I will take it again from 7, move forward. Sasam stiro vishtirach sam gribhayati janan eva janatich nitya ashaye punar vardhanti apiyanti deviyam anyadvarpach pitroch kranvate sacha. Pitaroch krinvate sacha, most probably deconstruction. He, whether contracted in being or wide extended, sizes on them utterly. He, whether contracted in being or wide extended, seizes on them utterly, seizes on them utterly. He knowing, they knowing the eternal Agni, enjoys them. Then again they increase and go to the state divine, uniting another form they make for the father and mother. Today I was looking into this verse again, and this another form they make for the father and mother makes totally sense. They make a new form for the father and mother. Father and mother, it seems that they are constantly being adjusted to the growth of the child. So the child is growing and the father and mother are changing. So in the Brahmanas, it is even said that the child prana of Manas and Vak, heaven and earth, is offspring, praja, is the reason or the cause for the father and mother to come into being. So the father and mother become father and mother because of the child. The child is the generator of father and mother. It's amazing. So the child is the growing divinity within the manifestation. And that causes or builds up the whole structure within manifestation, which we know as mother and father, heaven and earth, mind and speech. So they are constantly being adjusted and having new and new qualities and forms and powers and knowledge and consciousness because of them, those forces of Agni growing, penetrating, working, changing, transforming manifestation. So our mind becomes more sophisticated. Our physical becomes more capable of receiving the spirit. And this is a constant adjustment which is taking place in the evolution. These are the thoughts. So I am moving to the next verse, which we never read. Tam agruvach keshanich sam hire bihire. Advarach tastuch mamrushich prayave punaha. Mamrushich prayave punaha tasam jaram pramunchan etinanadat. Asum param janayan jivam astritam. Bright with their flowing tresses, they take utter delight of him, those powers, those flames, those swiftnesses of Agni. They who were about to perish stand upon high once more, for he is coming. They are rising, as it were, when they feel the presence or the growth of the divine within. For he loosens from them their decay and goes to them shouting high. He creates supreme force and unconquerable life. This is our Agni, the flame of the divine growing within manifestation. He rejuvenates. He recaptures life in a new fashion. There, everything which was dying, decaying, mamrushich, dying literally, yes, or dead even. Those who have become dead, they stand up again and move towards life again. Him the virgins, these virgins, forces, with their long hair utterly embrace. They stood up, who have died, to move forward again, freeing them from their old age, making them young, literally. He moves roaring constantly, generating the supreme force and life indestructible. So these are the words, agruvach, agru, unmarried virgin actually. Yes? It is also used with 10 fingers. With these 10 fingers we have to look into, it's a more occult meaning. 10 fingers usually are used in the ritualistic sense as the two hands which are working on creating the fire, rubbing two different aranis, two pieces of wood. And these 10 fingers, they ignite the flame. They are also these keshinis, yeah, or having those tresses or long hair. Agruvach, they are these virgin powers of mentality. Sri Aurobindo speaks about these 10 sisters or 10 fingers as 10 fundamental powers of our mentality, which are original and which create in the manifestation this interaction with the divine, which allows the divine to flame out, to reveal itself. And it's quite interesting because from the Kabbalistic point of view, these 10 fingers are 10 sephirots, as you know, yes? 10 fundamental positions of the force and consciousness of the divine, which manifest from the crown to the manifestation, to the embodied state in matter. So it's a tree of life, which covers all 10 major points. Why 10? It's quite interesting. Why 10? Why do we have 10 fingers? Yeah? It must be something connected to that physiologically must be connected to the spiritual meaning. We spoke about the symbolism of numbers before, the 3 times 3. Sri Aurobindo speaks about Navagva rishis and Dashagva rishis. So Dashagva rishis, rishis of 10 rays, rishis who realized the plane of consciousness beyond our mentality, in the Svar world, who came to Indra. It is Indra with his lightning who breaks our ceiling from above and connects us to the beyond. It is he who brings that light or the ray of the sun into our lower hemisphere and ignites in us the understanding and consciousness. So once we achieve Navagva state of 9 rays, we fulfilled our purpose in manifestation. We cannot develop more. We need to step out, go beyond. And then we invoke Indra. There is Ayasya Rishi who invokes Indra. And Navagva Rishis, rishis of 9 rays, become Dashagva Rishis, rishis of 10 rays. So they have the access to the transcendental. So in this sense, 10 is the number of fullness, fulfillment. Elsewhere, Sri Aurobindo speaks about these numbers, 10, 100, and 1,000. And he says that they represent the infinity on different levels. 10 is in infinity in this manifested state, 100 is infinity which includes upper and lower hemisphere, and 1,000 is infinity upon infinity. So it's even deeper, farther away infinity. Maybe including all other galaxies and universes, infinity. It's kind of interesting. 10, maybe I'm thinking now about our solar system, solar home. Maybe this is 10, and then 100, it is something connected to our galaxy in terms of the physicality of our existence. And then 1,000 is infinity, which is going far beyond everything. In these physical symbols, it could be interpreted in this way. So that's why 10 fingers, 10 sisters, 10 virgins, they are longing to him with their tresses, with their long hair. They are utterly embracing him, giving him the full, background or the foundation for his manifestation in the full sense. He will cover all the levels of our consciousness, all the chakras, if you will, because these 10, our mother speaks about chakras, and she says that originally we have 12 chakras, not 7, and 9 of them are in the embodied state, and she says 7 of them, as we know, from the Muladhara to Sahasrara, but there are also 2 lower chakras on the level of the knees and feet. And that makes them 9 chakras. Nobody speaks about chakras on the level of the knees or below the feet because they are purely material, physical being, physical consciousness, very difficult to perceive, very difficult to deal with. So we start with Muladhara because it is the upper, the mental physical, and the mental physical can be perceived, but not the vital physical or the physical physical. It's impossible to perceive it. We do not have the power of consciousness to be aware of it even. So these 9 from the feet to the top of our being, Sahasrara, these are 9 chakras. These are Navagva rishis, rishis of 9 rays, which realized fullness in manifestation. And now they feel the need to move forward. The fire grows in them and it wants to break through. So they call to Indra, and Indra breaks their ceiling from above. And they open to the 10th chakra, which is above Sahasrara. And Mother says above Sahasrara there are 3 more chakras. And it's quite amazing because only in the Veda we find this reference. Only in the Veda. 3 rojanas, yes? 3 luminous realms above the Tisro Dhyavah. Tisro Dhyavah, 3 heavens. 3 heavens are our upper chakras, yes? It says Vishuddha, Agni, and Sahasrara. These are the 3 heavens, 3 mental chakras. One is physical, mental, the expression of through speech and word. Other is vital mental, the dynamic power of Agni, and mental Sahasrara. And above there are 3 more levels, the levels of the ray of the sun, the intuitive mind, as Sri Aurobindo calls it, the realm of Indra. It is him who comes to us with the ray of intuition, with the Vajra which breaks, that intuitive ray which is breaking through, penetrating and showing us everything below. And then above him there is what we call, Sri Aurobindo calls overmental consciousness, the vast consciousness of Vishnu, Vishnu's realm. So Vishnu above Indra. Yeah? Vishnu with his vastness supports the action of penetrating intuition of Indra. And above Vishnu there is supramental of a mind, the realm of Savitar, of the first deviation of light into the darkness, the highest of the overmental realms. And beyond there is the sun, the triple sun. So that is no more chakras. Chakras are here in this manifestation. The 3 overmental chakras we do not know about, and 2 chakras below the Muladhara we also do not know. 5 chakras we are missing. So 7 plus 5, 12. Mother says there are 12 of them. This is an important knowledge because without it we do not understand the Veda. We don't understand from what level they are talking and why they are using this symbolic language of Navagvarishis, Dashagvarishis, who is Indra, who is Vishnu, yes, what they are needed for, who is Agni, whom these 10 virgins embrace utterly in their love and give him fullness of expression of the divine birth in this manifestation on all the levels. And they stand up alive again, full of force. Those who were dead, they again become alive. And he removes from them this residue of the old age. He frees them from that which is not to endure in time, cleanses them, makes them free from decay. Decay, it is something in us which is not responding to the spirit, something which cannot follow the speed of the spirit. So that has to be removed, cleansed away. So he does this for them with constant roaring, roaring again and again, of sounding, vibrating, roaring in this case, Nanadat, constantly vibrating with his force and consciousness, yeah? Cleansing them up. And generating the supreme force, Asum Param. Asu is the force of being, of beingness. Param, the supreme existence force, he generates Janayan, Jivamastritam, and the life indestructible, invincible. Jivam usually in the Veda is not the Jiva of the post-Vedic literature. Jiva in the post-Vedic is the soul. In the Veda, it is life. Yeah. Number 9. What happens next then, if after this embrace? Adhivasam parimatu rihan aha tuvigrebhih satvabhih yati vijrayah vayodadhat padvate rerihat sada anushiyeni sachate vartani aha. Tearing about her the robe, tearing about her the robe that conceals the other. He moves on utterly to the delight with the creatures of pure being who manifest the force. He establishes the wideness. He breaks through the goal for the traveler. Traveler is a human being, the soul. We are travelers. Even though swift rushing, he cleaves always to the paths. He will always accompany us on the way. Though he's seeking the fullness of realization, still he will be sticking to our path and our steps. He will take care of us on the path. Interestingly, he tears the veil that conceals the inner mother's self, literally matu. Yeah? Adhivasam. Adhivasa is that which covers the veil. Pari, around, matu, of the mother. That veil which covers the mother, he rihan, he breaks. Or later, in the later language, rich is lich root lich to leak. Leak and rich is also to leak, but to cut through. If rich is more sharp, cutting through, then leak is like more sliding without cutting through. Consuming. So he is consuming the veil around the mother. He burns it away or cuts it off, the veil. With the veil, there are many symbols in the spiritual literature, as you know. The veil of the mother, Sri Aurobindo speaks about this veil in Savitri, that Ashwapati, when he comes to the mother, because she has a veil over her face, and nobody saw her face ever. No creature in this world ever saw her face, because she is like Isis. In the occultism, it is the Divine Mother is Isis, the second arcanum. She sits on this throne and she has a veil upon her face, and nobody ever saw her face. So everybody knows that beyond the veil there is a face, but nobody saw it, that beauty. But in Savitri, Sri Aurobindo speaks about this. Maybe I will look into it in a minute. Let me open Savitri. It's amazing how he describes the veil and the face beyond the veil. I will find. Yes, yeah, it is. Sorry. He is using veil many times. Here it is. I will project it. It will be easier to read because this is the marvelous passage which explains the veil of the mother. Let me project this. You will enjoy it. Then, in a sovereign answer to his heart, a gesture came as of the worlds thrown away. This is Ashwapati. And from her raiments lustrous mystery raised, one arm half parted the eternal veil. A light appeared, still and imperishable, attracted to the large and luminous depths of the ravishing enigma of her eyes. He saw the mystic outline of her face. Overwhelmed by her implacable light and bliss, an atom of her illimitable self, mastered by the honey and lightning of her power, tossed toward the shores of her ocean ecstasy, drunk with the deep golden spiritual wine. He cast from the rent stillness of his soul a cry of adoration and desire, and the surrender of his boundless mind, and the self-giving of his silent heart. He fell down at her feet, unconscious, prone. He lost his consciousness in front of the face of the mother. He actually, one hand parted partially her face, and he saw the light beyond the veil. It is something which is very rare, because it is said that nobody ever saw the face of the mother beyond the veil, the Isis. But Sri Aurobindo had the opportunity to get the glimpse of that light, and lost his consciousness in front of her in full surrender. So this is that veil which Agni somehow leaks, literally, or consumes, or Sri Aurobindo says, tearing about her the robe that conceals the other beyond the veil, the mother. He moves on utterly to the delight with the creatures of pure being. And then once the veil is removed, the creatures of pure being move utterly to the delight, who manifest the force capital F. He establishes the wideness. He breaks through the goal for the traveler. For us, it is for us he does all this. Even though swift rushing, he cleaves always to the paths. You see, to vigra, swallowing much or consuming forces, it's only in this hymn. The words are very interesting here. So he removes the veil, adhivasam, the cover of the mother, or burns or leaks with his flames, and tuvigrebhih sattvabhih yati vijrayach. He moves into the vastness with his, literally, beings, sattvabhih. In the later language, Sattvan is the soldier, the fighter, the warrior, with his warriors consuming all, he moves into the vastness. He breaks through into the vastness. Vayodadhat, establishing the space. Padvati Redihat, and for the Padvat, the one who is moving, constantly traveler. Yes? He breaks through the goal for the traveler, even though swift rushing. Shieni is an interesting word. I'm speaking here more. He cleaves to the past like an eagle. Shieni is the she-eagle who brings Soma. It is that eagle who brings the delight to our being. And so his movement is compared to that eagle who brings Soma into this lower hemisphere. And then number 10, 11, 13. I think only 2 are left. No, 13. There are 4. Maybe we will not be able to cover all today. Asmakam Agni Maghavatsu Didihi Adha Shvasivan Vrishabho Damunach Avasya Shishumatich Avasya Shishumatich Adidech Ava Asya Shishumatich Adidech Varmeva Yutsu Parijarbhurana. The rhythm is a bit difficult to build. Ava Asya Shishumatich Adidech Vartma Iva Yutsu Pari Jarbhurana. Vartmeva Yutsu Pari Jarbhurana. Burn bright for us, O Agni, in our fullnesses. Henceforth be the strong master and inhabit in us with the sisters, those very sisters, yeah? Casting away from thee those of them that are infant minds, thou shouldst burn bright, encompassing us all about like a cuirass of our battles, most probably like the protection, like the shield. Yeah? Cuirass, I do not know how to pronounce it. The most probably French word. Shibindra is using a lot of French words. Yeah, most probably Robin knows this word, yes? Robin is French and German and English and everything. All the languages, yeah.
I think that the cuirass is a curved sword.
Oh.
I'm not positive about that, but I vaguely seem to remember that.
Okay. So interpretation, shine on to or illumine us in our plenitudes of fulfillments, realizations, and thus be the Lord of our house, full of life force. Now you see that transformation took place. He broke through, he opened the mother's presence and broke into the vastness, and now shine, illumine us in our plenitudes, in our fulfillments on the path, sticking on our path, and thus be the Lord of our house, full of life force, casting away our childish things. Shishumatich, well, Avasya, having cast away the childish things of ours, you should flame bright, Adideh, encompassing us like the shield in our battles. Vartma. Vartman is the protection, or the what they put, those shields, or how do you call them? Those soldiers were wearing that metal robe, yeah? Vartmeva, as if Vartman, Jutsu in the fighting, in the battles, Pari Jarbhurana, covering us up from all sides, protecting us from all over. Yes,
Vladimir, it reads to me like Varmev. Varma meaning basically armor,
yeah,
right?
armor. Yes,
It's
in the
Varmev.
yes, it's from root vri to cover. Yes,
Okay.
and
I did Google it,
yeah,
and the meaning is a piece of armor covering the body from neck to waist.
Yes, yes, that's it.
this shield in front. Yes, absolutely. We know this word varma. Yeah. There is another Sharma. Varma is usually Kshatriyas. It is Varma is Kshatriyas, Varna's language. Sharma is more Brahmins, I think. Varma is no.
No,
Sharma,
even Vladimir, even in common language, Varma is often used. It basically means armor. So any kind of armor is a Varma.
yeah,
Kings used to wear them, soldiers, etc.
yeah, family names.
Yeah.
Because here somewhere I was doing this in the next, and I will show you. Sharman. Yeah, Sharman is protection, also protection, shelter, refuge. So often at the end of the names of Brahmins, yes, Sharman. Just Varman is added to the names of Kshatriya, Gupta to the names of Vaishyas. It's kind of interesting, according to the Varnas. Yes, you recognize by the names in India who belongs to which. Yeah, Joshi belongs to the Brahmins, most probably. Yes, others like Patel belongs to the Vaishyas mainly. Yeah? You know that somehow you know. Huh? Because it's a tradition in a way. That's what I meant, Varman, as belonging to Kshatriyas, and kind of signature of Kshatriyas belonging to the royal families, protectors. Maybe it's not like that anymore in India, but something remains. India is very traditionalistic. It doesn't leave that easily away. Yeah? The name tells you about your belonging, as it were.
Vladimir, there is there are people with names like Trivedi and Chaturvedi who are supposed to know the three Vedas and the four Vedas, but in reality they are probably doing engineering or medicine or something. So
Doing business. Right, yes. Well, they inherited the name, yes, they inherited. Their, ancestors were Chaturvedis and Trivedis, and then
right.
they changed because of the need of the hour. Right, absolutely. In many Indian restaurants, Brahmins are cooks. So what can you say? Because they believe that when the Brahmin is cooking, then everybody can eat. So that's what it is. I got the explanation from some Indian. That's why Brahmin is cooked, because everybody can eat. So they know, oh, Brahmin is cooked, then we can eat. Interesting. So this Agni is now the lord of our house. He has to be illumining us in our plenitudes, in our realizations of the spirit, in our transformations. He has to be there, bringing his light. Sri Aurobindo says, burn bright for us. Yeah. Cast away our, and having cast away our childishness, our deviating experimentation with life, yes, which we usually do because we are curious about their manifestation. So we will do many stupid things, childish things. So casting away that flame, you should flame bright for us and manifest only the divine. There's something in us which is very much attracted to the curiosities of manifestation. Yes, so we are very curious to know what is there prohibited, what is there in the darkness, what is there in the dharma, as this Bhishma said at the end of his life. I know what is dharma, I know what is adharma, but I don't understand why adharma attracts me, not dharma. And this is a big question, profound question. Yeah? Why adharma is attracting us? And I believe it is because we do not believe in adharma as souls. We believe that everywhere is the divine. And we can discover the divine in the darkest places. We can calculate incalculable. We can manifest the divine in all fullness. And because of that, we are very curious and attracted to that place where there is seemingly not divine. We want to see whether it is so. Yeah? That's how we are attracted to sin. There's some kind of dialectical force which is pushing us towards the darkness because we are those sparks of light. And with our knowledge and presence, we can illuminate, transform it. We are attracted to darkness because the darkness is the field of work, the field in which we have to bring, into which we have to bring the light and transform it. And the darkness is attracted to us because it wants to be illumined. You know, there's something in it which wants to discover its own true self, true being, and that is light. Yeah? So this kind of movement towards darkness is amazing. So casting away the childishness, that attractiveness to the to be not knowledgeable, to be curious, to be kind of naive, and to establish in us the flame, which is not seeking anymore that curiosity, but wants to maintain and grow the flame in us, and protecting us from all the sides, from this darkness attacking and transforming it constantly, is the call of the Rishi. I think it's a very high level of development, where the transformation is already inevitable. Where you cannot go back. You cannot leave anymore the path. You cannot step back and say, okay, I had enough, let me be yoga bhrashta, the one who falls away from the yoga path. You can't do it anymore because transformation already took place to the extent that you have only one way, and that is way forward. You cannot go backward. You cannot become normal and start examining what is happening within you and in your life. Sri Aurobindo speaks about this stage in yoga, that there will be a stage in which you cannot go back because the transformation took place too far. And so there is only one way forward. And I believe this is the verse. So remove from us all those shishumati, yeah, the things which babies do, which those infants, as Sri Aurobindo says, infant minds, casting away from thee those of them that are infant minds, thou shouldst burn bright, encompassing us all about like cures of our battles. I do not know how to pronounce it. cuirass or curious, either or. Piece of armor, yes. Great, we can stop here for today, and we will have 1, 2, 3, 3 more verses, and we will finish this beautiful hymn. You can see how complex ideas are, yes? How deeply they are, how to say, rooted in our need of spiritual transformation. This is not an ordinary language. It's not the philosophical exercise. It's not about how the world is made and what it is all about. It's a totally different language, more direct, more intuitive, experiential. That's what is happening within the Rishi. And this message he sends to us, that we should remember it. We should know why we are here, what we are here for, what we are here to do, our purpose in this manvantara. This was the plan of the group soul, envisioned by all humanity's soul before we came into this manvantara. So this was our vision. It's like reincarnation of the group soul, the same as reincarnation of the individual. Individual leaves the body, goes into the place of rest, makes a new plan for embodiment, what it wants to achieve, what it could not achieve in the previous incarnation, and then comes down again into the body to continue the journey, to continue the transformation and change. The same with group soul, only group soul comes in the longer periods, in manvantara periods. The reincarnations are manvantaras. So this is the plan, the vision. I could totally subscribe to it. We recognize the truthfulness of it because we were part of that decision as a group soul. We made this decision. Only now we are reminded through the outer language to ourselves that what we made, what we decided to do here in this incarnation. All right, I will close with the mantra. Oh, unless you have something to share, please go ahead.
I do have one question about that.
Yes.
Just because I do love your idea of the group soul, and some of these ideas are fairly new to me. So if the idea of group soul wouldn't be everyone that you see in the world is a part of this group soul, but just somehow people that you come in contact with, or would you maybe not even know some of the people involved in the group soul?
Yes, all the people. But I mean all. Yeah, everyone.
Huh.
Yes, we made this decision, only we partially cover it. Yeah, some of us come later to this understanding, others come through different languages, different elements of this work, because the work is so complex and so manifold. So you could do so many parts of it, yeah, and work out in pieces. But the ideal is the ideal of human unity at the end, that the vision where we are all recognizing the uniqueness of our manifestation, different cultures, and we recognize the true value of the divine in each one of us. Yeah? And to arrive at it, we need to go through many transformative paths. Yes, we have to transform our physical, vital, mental nature. We have to face all those forces, universal forces, which obstruct, which want to be transformed and come to us for help. And we see them as obstructions and those who want us fall. But if we are weaker, they make us fall. Yes. But if we are stronger, we transform them, and they are very grateful to us that we did transform them. So because they came for that, yeah. They don't come to gobble us up, you know. Though they come only with that idea to take more light into them, you know, to take new food and to sustain themselves. And then when you resist and bring the divine light into action through yourself, and they transform and change, and they gain their true nature, true being, which was hidden behind that form of darkness.
That's really beautiful. Thank you for expounding on that.
Yeah.
I love it.
The Veda is so beautiful. It is kind of answering the questions which are for all questions, yes. All questions they answer, because these answers are fundamental, archetypal. They are not about something what to do in my life. It's quite obvious what to do. I have to grow in consciousness. There is no other way for me to proceed. That's why I'm here. How I would do it, through what means and language, it's another matter. I may choose a religious form or spiritual form or scientific form. Doesn't matter. Matters that I grow in consciousness.
Can I just add something to what Stacy just said?
Yeah.
Basically, there's a kind of programming which is known as agent-driven programming, where what happens is there are these individual agents which you create, which have behaviors, and then you make them run all together, and they all have programmed behaviors. And then when you look at the thing in a holistic way, there is an utterly different behavior that the whole creates. And it's very similar to the concept of universal soul that you have mentioned. It's called emergent behavior. It wasn't there when all the individuals were not there or were not acting, but when everything is put together, everybody acts in his own way. This utterly different kind of behavior comes into the system. It's something just I just wanted to share, sort of.
Yes, thank you. Cool.
Some kind of archetypal behavior which we can't avoid. Even if you want to, we can't be.
It's exactly like those, flying hordes of birds. I forget what they are called, starlings. Yeah, exactly like the starlings move this way and that way in the sky. It's actually each individual starling acting, but the whole seems to me move like a different living thing altogether. And that's exactly what happens in this kind of programming. It's very interesting, actually. A totally different living being. It doesn't look like a starling. It looks like something else, but it does act that way.
By the way, you can look at our body in the same way. There are so many organs, so many different tasks within the body, so many trillions of bacteria and funguses live, and there's the whole universe of and all of them somehow build this thing which can talk, think, has totally different functionality. You can't find them in those elements if you separate them, but you put them together like chariot. You put all the elements together, wheels, this, that, and it becomes a chariot. It can move. But otherwise, if you take them apart, all those elements, there is no chariot. There is no body. There's something is very mysterious how we build up.
It's really like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It really works like that. I mean, you cannot predict the behavior of the whole just by adding up all the parts. It's something utterly different.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. Thank you. Thank you all. And I will close with the mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santo Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyanto Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.